M'invitez-nous chaque mardi à 7h30 pour nous tendre conversation communautaire. Non, moi c'est Lana St, moi porter petit segment ça pour nous célébrer communauté, pour nous célébrer monde qui travaille dans communauté. Conversation communautaire sont un segment qui patronné par Radio Haïti Amérique Internationale avec Chris Stéphanie. Célébrer communauté, converser, faire conversation avec ressources que nous gagnons dans la communauté. Essayer de transformer connexion nous avec moun, transformer connexion nous avec situation. Si vous voulez patronner ou bien si vous voulez inviter dans ce segment ça, relais 954 638 83 21. Pas oublier brancher chaque mardi à 7h30 du soir pour nous connecter, pour nous célébrer, pour nous faire conversation à communauté. Bienvenue à tout le monde, bienvenue sur Conversation communautaire. Aujourd'hui, nous gagnons une belle jeune demoiselle qui va parler avec nous de éducation. Nous connaissons nos mi-année, mais nous connaissons que nous allons prendre 2-3 jours de vacances, ça va commencer en janvier, par une festivité, oublier un peu bagaille. Mais faut nous connaître que d'ici mai faut petit monde préparer non seulement pour traverser pour l'autre niveau mais tout si有besoin aller ou bien dans technique dans l'école technique ou bien dans collège faut commencer préparer depuis bien bonne heure. Moi même petit temps que moi fait boy ici là moi connais depuis dans 8e grade ou supposé commencer à regarder si gain bourse d'études et tout ça. Alors aujourd'hui nous gain plaisir pour nous parler avec madame Lana St. Hilaire. Bonsoir Lana, comment est?
Bonsoir, merci en pile pour l'invitation ça que vous faites avec moi-même. Moi réellement apprécié parler avec vous et m'a regarder qui je suis capable d'aider communauté concernant éducation.
Lana, tell us who you are, what you like doing and how you like the States.
Thank you so much for asking. Moi travaille comme un educational consultant, so un consultant qui travaille sur éducation. Ça veut dire que moi des petits moun pour appliquer avec collège, pour entrer dans l'université, nous aider tout avec scholarship, ça nous les bourses d'études là, comme on fait parler de ça. Ça fait presque environ plus que 20 ans que moi dans l'éducation, moi je travaille dans district là comme un district administrator, et puis je travaille tout comme un conseiller académique, ça nous les school counselor. So ça fait un bon temps que m'a fait qualité travail ça yo. Kounya moi travaille comme un consultant pour Urban League. Même qualité de travail là aider élèves entrer dans collège ou soit université ou soit technical school et puis aider tout avec scholarship.
Alors t'as là son chance moi te prend pas réaliser que t'es qu'on ba bourse d'études pour et technical school. Moi toujours pensé que c'est là où aller dans programme apprenticeship là c'est seulement là ça que yo on j'en pousser ou bien aider ou vers l'école technique. Can you elaborate on that or am I wrong?
No, the scholarships, I think a lot of people are very confused about scholarships. As long as you're going into some sort of post-secondary planning could be a technical school or classes that you take at Palm Beach State College or a 4-year college or a 2-year college, university. You can go ahead and apply for scholarships. There are such a variety of scholarships available for students. What we tell students is please go ahead and start with the FAFSA application that they can go ahead and apply for the FAFSA to see how much need that they have. But apart from that, there's a host of other scholarships that are available in the community for students. So as long as they're going to go into post-secondary planning, there's plenty of scholarship for the students. I think the biggest issue is that sometimes the students do not know that those scholarships are available and they do not use them. So we even have scholarships for housing. There's a organization called Southern Scholarship Foundation, SSF. They provide scholarships even for housing. And most parents do not even understand that housing is the biggest cost when kids are applying to college. They think sometimes it's the classes. But it's not. It's really housing, where they're going to live, how they're going to eat, all those things. So there is a lot of different scholarships out there. It's just that sometimes our families are not familiar with those type of scholarships. Yeah, go on paquet bourse qui existait pour Timounio.
Yeah. Avec toute bourse qui est disponible, the first thing that you mentioned is the FAFSA. Does your organization help with the application, the FAFSA application? Parce que réaliser que chaque année, avant même que nous ayons un programme un programme que les Biden, chaque année, on cycle en Haïti, chaque année, on bon petit monde qui toujours entré pour ici là. Et parents, ils sont pas habitués avec le système ça parce qu'en Haïti, on est fin high school de pour fin baccalauréat, on est allé dans l'université et puis c'est tout. Pas gain tout programme FAFSA ça. Est-ce que compagnie pour aider ou bien acheminer Timonio pour dire que faut appliquer pour FAFSA ou bien faire des rencontres ou bien des workshops là, des ateliers de formation pour capable aider. Est-ce que nous fait ça?
Oui, nous fait ça. So ça nous fait c'est que nous travaillons avec Palm Beach State College et puis Urban League tout et puis même yo fait workshop là pour Timonio. Yo fait application avec eux directement s'il nécessaire. Question par question. Toute information ça yo. Donc oui, nous capable connecter avec Palm Beach State. Ça moi fait en général c'est que si moi puis nous dit que ça que nous avons un groupe de qui est intéressé pour remplir FAFSA, nous contacter Palm Beach State, yo gen on partie des trio programmes qui viennent dans place là et puis yo aider ti remplir application. So oui, nous capable connecter avec monde qui pour faire. Et puis quelquefois tu gen quelques changements qui fait dans FAFSA. Moi plus à l'aise pour me remplir pour moi-même avec petit monde parmi eux, mais quelquefois à cause de nouveaux règles qui viennent, new rules sometimes. So no rely on Palm Beach State College qui peut aider nous avec aider petit monde faire application.
Yeah, ça c'est un gros défi lié. It's a very big challenge for a parent et qui vit ici. Tout bagage ça est fait online, gagner là même des monde que si pour yo upload documents et impôts locatifs et taxes et tout ça c'est online pour yo faire. So non seulement nous gagner et on sorte de illiteracy technique n'daka dit au niveau de parents yo parce que c'est pas un système qui est habitué avec lui. Gon dame qui dit l'autre jour, "Diane, leur parler moi parler vom moi même système ça nouveau pour moi."
Oh yes.
Alors Lana, nous numéro de téléphone et office avec nos office pour monde qui besoin contacter peut-être juste pour nous capable rappeler de faire problème FAFSA ça que en pile nan yo gain.
Yeah, thank you so much. What you said was very funny, but it is very true. Et puis qui dem te pas seulement communauté pas non qui a problème avec FAFSA, en pile monde qui a problème avec FAFSA. Si tout c'est première fois y a fait application, si tout c'est première fois bon petit monde qui parle dans collège ou soit université, tout bagage ça c'est li nouveau pour yo. Et puis yo pas contre qui côté pour yo aller ou soit qui ça pour yo faire. Donc peut-être ça est difficile pour un pile monde. So pas dans domaine la difficile. So I just want to bring this out there. It is true. So the name of my business is Mentor Education Services. And my phone number is 561-614-7156. Encore, Mentor Education Services. Le mot téléphone, moi, c'est 561-614-7156. So, si vous contactez moi, I will connect them with Palm Beach State, ou soit l'autre, parce qu'il y a un pile l'autre organisation qui a des témoignages, like the Urban League, aider avec un pile bagay sa yo. Mais, encore un pile fois pas connaît que programme ça existait donc il pas participer là-dedans.
Alors ça c'était un problème que nous a parlé qui existait dans la communauté nous et n'a pas appelé monde qui écouter nous yo même j'en dis un problème ça pas existé dans la communauté pas nous seulement il existe dans d'autres communautés mais nous même comme moi c'est haïtien mais on travaille
comprendre nous focus
obligé focus sur haïtien parce que pas mon dit moi telle nation dit qui des monde yo gen monde qui dans nation pas qui pour aider nous même nous gen un pile problème et
nous gars c'est problème pas non
yeah et puis nous gen and you also have to look at the cultural competency because nous moi capable permettre moi dire ça en plus fois mon dit déjà non ti gens dit avec mon yo non ti gens paresseux dans tout ça n'a fait alors tout le monde a pas les radios là qu'on y même pas dire parler les radios puis tu les numéro de téléphone m'a ba yo le talent
OK All right. Et puis, pas dit ça, non, pas mentionner par ici, ok? So,
non, yo pas prêt l'eau pour ça. Yo mettre l'eau pour ça. Non, c'est ce que nous toujours pas reçu que on dit que n'a font on fête, n'a font gala et puis nous dit mon yo mais qui côté gala fête, mais qui est la fête. Et puis vous voyez que tout mois passé, 2 mois passé et puis yo pas jamais pratiquer. Ça sont forme de paresse li parce que sont engagés pour venir ou faire. So moi capable faire même comparaison avec un petit monde l'école. So si petit monde dans l'école là depuis li entré ici à 8 ans, bien 10 ans et puis l'arrivé dans 11e grade avec 6 mois moins dit li oh, cher ami, ça fait pour aller dans le collège, je dis, je connais. Son paresse lié parce que vous avez tout le temps ça devant vous préparer, toutes vacances pour te demander au monde aider. Gen de l'autre, yo dit que, qui quand on vend ticket, nous dit, on a vendu tel côté, nous avons 4 côtés. Et puis, on dit, oh, ou pas vendre dans telle rue, ce sont formes de paresse parce que vous voulez pour accommoder 20 tickets pour le boire la caillou, alors que même ça, dans zone pour aller.
Yeah.
Le m'a parlé de paresse, c'est juste que moi-même et moi penser on même tout leur parler avec les parents yo, les professeurs yo, on ti moun gen avle dire que li vle un docteur ou bien un chirurgien ou bien li vle conduire et on ship pour aller dans l'ASA, mais si GPA li c'est 2, obviously you have to be very honest with them. Moi-même, fais le devoir pour moi. I'm being honest with you. Sometimes the honesty is brutal, but
it's necessary sometimes.
Parce que m'pas vle leurrer ou m'a dit un bagage qui passe ça m'a bon faux espoir. Parce que as a business owner, you would know, c'est espoir qui fait que business continue. Mais si m'a gen faux espoir, m'pas pas avancer.
Yes.
So, à part de problème parents que nous connaissons qui gagne illiteracy en termes techniques, en termes d'ordinateur et tout ça, et Timoun yo, qui l'autre problème que ouais Timoun yo gagne là bas ou bien qui l'autre problème que ouais dans monde éducatif là dans milieu bon on pas chita soit ici dans milieu Palm Beach là, on dit dans milieu Palm Beach là parce que nous avons plusieurs types de clients.
I do, and thank you so much for talking about that. Merci parce que vous venez avec sujet ça parce que no, I'm toujours des parents, college planning starts in elementary school. So it's very difficult for you to do college planning when the student is already graduating out of high school. So, commencement, là, on pas commencer planifier pour collège ou commencer depuis les timonions élémentaires. Parce que classe que timonio prend, l'important. Collège considéré classe ça yo. Si on élève après tant élève dans 12e, ça nous les seniors pour commencer à planifier pour collège, un peu tard pour capable faire ça. Moi il y a un problème que moi timonio gain premier poor planning. Poor planning is a big thing, procrastination. Retenir à la dernière minute pour faire toute bagaille, qu'on arrive dans une emergency. Et puis l'autre bagaille que moi crois qui difficile et peut-être yo pensez que gon l'autre monde cap vinn faire pour yo. Somebody's gonna take care of you. I'm toujours dit élève yo me dit pas nobody's gonna take care of you. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take the initiative. Goban for commencer pour ça, ou pas arrêter pour l'autre monde commencer pour. So si on est par exemple vous voulez entrer en collège, faut parents ni avec élève là commencer depuis le commencement. Ou pas juste rester ou dire OK ouais, m'a prétendre à la dernière minute pour moi faire ça. Li pas travail comme ça. So I would say those two major things, poor planning and procrastination, and then thinking that somehow the other somebody else is going to do it for them. And it doesn't work that way.
Yo pense l'école la t'a fait li, yo pense que Simon t'a fait li, but in terms of grade, how brutal is your honesty when a child comes in front of you with very poor grade? Because vous faites dit à l'heure que c'est depuis elementary school, so ça veut dire que au monde qui dit que il va aimer mathématiques et puis après ça il commence grand il dit que he's gonna be an actuary. How honest are you with that child, the parents, when it comes to their grades and their wish or their ambition, I should say?
Yeah, and thank you so much for asking that question as well. I always practice honesty. I do not believe in telling students things that they just want to hear, but it doesn't have any substance. So and it's not helpful. It's not helpful either to, me as a business person or the student. So I do practice honesty with the students. What I do try to do though is give them options. sometimes there's different reasons why the students' grades are poor. And so they just need options as to how do I get myself into this situation. And what I tell, one of the things I tell students is life is almost like a staircase. You take one step at a time. Mm-hmm. So if your grades are poor, then you need to do what it takes to improve your grades. And then from then on, you can do something else. You can go ahead and apply to college, or you can go into technical school. So I do try to just be present in terms of dealing with the situation for what it is. We do have a lot of kids, for example, who has a really low GPA and they think they can get into the top university. Mm. And I tell them, okay, I will never say never because I do believe in miracles. But right now, this is what I think you can get into. It's okay to aspire to get to this higher level, but right now this is where you probably need to get started. And so that's the way I do it with the students. I never tell anybody that you cannot, because I've seen students who people didn't think they would be able to graduate and they work hard. Something happened. They had the additional motivation, start connecting to the right people, and then they do well. And so that is a possibility.
That's the word that I was waiting for you as you were talking. It's motivation, because le fait que ou honnête avec le monde, pas veut dire que ou pas motivé pour faire mieux. And that's we're gonna go back to this conversation that those people need to have, those parents need to have with their children early on. Parce que si ti moun pa reme li, he cannot become a lawyer. Because the first 2 years, that's all he's going to be doing. Si ti moun pa reme apprendre et comprendre pour li ap étudier, et puis li di que li besoin font médecin, li pa konnen rien en biologie, li pa un ti moun ki inquisitive. Li pa bon en medical field na, parce que one of the things, and we're going to talk about this, is not only the scholarship, is the there's a name for it, the transition. Parce que en pile fois, and back in my days, I had a bunch of friends, they wanted to become electrical engineer, and then tout moun te bezwen nes on sel kou, kounye al fè nes kounye pa remel. I know of a lot of people who had gone to college, paid a lot of money, are still in debt, and had studied something that at the end they realized they didn't like.
No, and I think that's a great point, because part of the situation is we have to realize that every kid is different and they have different goals and different aspirations. You know, I remember when I was younger, my mom wanted me to be a doctor. I hate blood. Okay, when I see a needle, I almost pass out from a needle. So obviously this is not for me, but I know that she was so convinced that this would be the best career for me. But obviously I went into education. So you have to allow, knowing the strength of your child, knowing what the weaknesses are and their abilities, you have to allow them to make some of these choices as well. And I know that's a very taboo discussion in our Haitian culture, because we want everybody to be an engineer and everybody to be a doctor or a lawyer. But there's also other career tracks. Like, for example, kid you not, today I just had a meeting with a gentleman. He's a plumber. Well, he owns his own company. He has 4 people working for him. He makes over $100 and something thousand every year. He's a plumber, right? And so what I'm trying to tell parents is there's different options for your kids. It doesn't have to be that, you know, we do not want to just structure them into one career field. We want to be able to give them options. And let me just say one more thing too. If you have a child, let's just say, who's interested in a field and they're not maybe very good in a subject, then they need to get assistance. They need to get help. If it's math, then they need to get tutoring in math. If it's biology, then they need to get tutoring in biology. So we want to make sure, I tell my own children, I need you to do the best that you can. I won't argue with you if you're trying your best. So that's all I ask is that you give me your best work, your best effort.
Earlier we spoke about cultural sensitivity.
Yeah.
And I feel as though in our Haitian mentality, sometimes we think que si pou nan pral pran tutoring ou bien si pral pran leçon, c'est parce qu'il est crétin. Please elaborate on that and be brutally honest. Punch me in the face, punch me in the stomach.
Honestly, I would have to say that I would be the biggest cretin there is. Okay. And I'm just being very honest with you. I mean, obviously, okay, montré aux États-Unis, m'te gen 8 ans. M'te obligé à apprendre langue nan. Even m'te fin graduate high school, and I went to one of the best high schools in the country. I went to Suncoast. I still had lack in the English language.
Yeah.
And so I remembered when I was at University of Florida, I went to one of the tutoring labs so I can learn how to conjugate the verbs properly. So asking for help is a virtue. It's a good thing that you can actually recognize that you need help in something and take the steps needed to get the help. And so it's not going to get any better. You're not going to improve on it if you're not getting the help. My kids, all of us, I always say that this is my own children, biological children. Math does not run in our household, period. It doesn't. I don't know what happens. We love reading, but when it comes to math, that's one area that we have lack in. So every single one of my children have had math tutoring because they needed it. Okay, nou pa ka bon nan tout bagay. It's impossible. And I think we have to face the fact that ou pa ka bon nan tout bagay, ou pa bon Dieu. Ou pa ka bon nan tout bagay, like you can't be good at everything. You're not God. And so there's going to be areas that you do need to get help in. And it's okay for you to get that help. In fact, if a kid tells me they need help, I think that's a great thing. Parce que au moins, yo reconnaît que yo besoin aide. Et puis, kounya y a fon bagay pou yo ranger, y a corriger ça yo besoin corriger. Donc, moi, li réellement bon bagay let on a demandé pour assistance dans un sujet que yo même yo pas comprendre ou soit yo pas connaît. So, et pas crétin, if anything, you know, that's a great thing.
And at your office, you offer also tutoring services?
I do not offer tutoring services. So I work with the Urban League. They have several programs that students can participate in. One of them is the New Lights program. And within that component of the New Lights program, there's academic assistance. So I travaille pour Urban League et puis gon parti dans programme côté yo aider ti moun yo avec devoir by CC. So si you participate in a program, ça oui, you capable joindre aide.
Basically, Miss Hilaire, from our brutal honesty, we encourage the parents to fill out their FAFSA.
Yes.
We encourage them to give the student the choice to go into fields that are not medical, engineer, avocat. There's people making a lot of money in the maritime industry, in the construction industry, and side conversation. M'encourage tout parent voye ti moun nan nage parce que li impossible pour nous fourrer ti moun yo dans police ou bien dans lifeguard côté ka travail pour 15 ans, les fini retraité parce que pas qu'on nage. They all keep on failing test natation. The other thing that we encourage, if the child tells you or if you see that your child needs tutoring, c'est pas parce que li crétin, c'est parce que he's trying to get better at the subject that he feels maybe a little uncomfortable or that he doesn't comprehend much.
Absolutely.
Scholarship is mostly what you help them with, and they need to start since elementary. Mande ti moun nou ou même k'ap koute radio aujourd'hui, mandel ki sal ta remen demain, gade si grade li associé avec ça que li envie faire ou bien ça que ta vle encourager le faire, pas forcer non. We're not talking about forceful encouragement. We're talking about conversation here. C'est ça nous fait dans conversation communautaire. Et puis capable toujours parler avec vous, on rappelle au numéro de téléphone non parce que dernière question m'pa poser là, c'est qui sont ta remen pour communautaire.
So I just wanted to make a slight adjustment to the statement that you said. I help students with scholarships, but I also assist them with college advising as to where to go to college. And then one of the scholarships that we do have is the Haitian Educators Association of Palm Beach. And those scholarships are strictly for Haitian students. The deadline will be March 25th. The application will be out. So we encourage every student in Palm Beach County who's a senior, who's going to be going to college, to apply for the Haitian Educators Association of Palm Beach. And we've given over $100,000 in scholarships scholarships so far. So that's a great opportunity for our Haitian kids. Again, I'm with Mentor Education Services. My phone number is 561-614-7156. Okay, also our Mentor Education Services, le mon téléphone c'est 561-614-7156.
Miss St. Hilaire, how hard is college advising in the Haitian community?
It can be very difficult, and it's not because the students are not prepared. I think some of the issues that I am seeing is that parents do not want their students to go away to college. And so most of them probably stay locally when they could probably go to a, let's just say, more prestigious university. And so that is a part of the college advising process. And not every kid can go away. We understand that because, some of them may not even have the maturity level. And I think as a parent, definitely they have a say in that. But I am noticing that sometimes the students, they'll stay locally instead of applying to the top universities. And then also there's a lack of scholarships. So they usually try to get student loans. And that's obviously another chapter in and of itself, because we have a lot of people who have student loans that they cannot even afford to pay. Some of the students are just opting to do student loans. And sometimes some of our students go to some of these private universities that are very expensive. Sometimes they're not necessarily any higher caliber in terms of education, but those type of universities, they tend to send a lot of mails to our students. And they would go into some of these private universities and they get a lot of student loans. And what they find is that when they have to pay for it, it's very difficult.
Can I ask you a question? Now in 2023, maybe not back in 1992 when I was in college, if somebody and I'm saying it as a parent, if somebody comes to you and they tell you that they want to go study something that over the life of maybe 4 or 5 years, they still won't be able to repay that loan. Do you take in consideration the fact that if that person needs a loan to get that specific career, that it's something that makes no financial sense?
I do. You have to take it, because the other part we have to consider is you have to look at the total picture. You have to look at the total picture of this whole college advising. If a student wants to learn a career that it's not going to be profitable, I discourage them. I tell them right out, listen, you want to do this career, you want to do anthropology where you're not going to find a job mostly. So there's no need for you to waste your time. And I know people think it's funny, but sometimes when the students want to do these careers, the first question I ask them is, how are you planning on eating? Because if you're not able to find a job, it's going to be very difficult for you. So we do talk about the type of careers that the students will go into. We do talk about sometimes parents will sign in student loans, but that parent is near retirement. And the student loans are in their names. And so how are they going to pay that student loan off? So we do talk about some of the programs that are available at a private college or university. You may have the same program available at a public institution that's way cheaper. And so we talk about that. So, and then there's sometimes it is absolutely appropriate to go to the private school. If you have a student who has such a high academic achievement, then the private university will provide them a lot of money and scholarships, then it makes sense for you to go to that private university, because sometimes the private university, they are able to offer a lot more scholarships. But you have to look at the total picture. It's not just this is where I'm going. You have to look at totality about, does it make sense future?
Yeah, because as we were talking about culture, and sometimes we have parents who have 4, 5, 6 kids. On parent qui gagne 6 timoun, and please don't laugh because it's not uncommon.
Oh no, I'm not laughing. My parents had 8, so I
Et puis, ou imagine ou kounye pti moun nan ki pi gran, alos ke maman entre isi ta, li pa gen travay, she's either working, a minimum wage job, et puis kounye sa ki pi gran deside ke li pral apren medicine pou 4 ans and away, pendant ke pat gen l'argent. And I think that's very important for us the next time, Miss St. Hilaire, for us to have this in January, and I think we're gonna do a show in January. The one in January will be talking about the type of financing, because from when you comprendre que l'on va voir ti dans l'école là, ou bien li gon scholarship sous mérite, ou bien sous sport que li jouer, ou bien qu'on gen l'argent serré pour li, ou bien que li prend loan. We're gonna structure it in such a way so that you could understand, and that has something to do with the FAFSA that we spoke about earlier.
Yes.
And in February, which is gonna be a little late for certain, we're gonna emphasize on the fact that whether que ti moun dans l'école privée ou bien publique, gen de accès que li gen à un certain scholarship or not.
I not only have the theory, but I also have the practice. I have 3 girls, and 2 of them are in colleges right now. Both of them have graduated without any student loans. And there was a conversation I had to have with both of them. I have one who's going to graduate right now in December 15th, just this Friday, no student loans. She has a degree in computer science engineering, and she's been offered a very lucrative position. So what I'm saying is I'm walking the truth that I am preaching, that it is more than just the idea of, private school versus public school. Sometimes there is a lot of aid, especially if you're a first generation college student. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of aid for these families. So it may be okay for that first one to go and do biology, because there's a lot of support there that the government provide a financial aid. I mean, they provide a lot of grants, and then sometimes students can get a lot of the merit scholarships and their school will be completely paid for. But there's other times where it may not make sense. So you just have to take a look, and that's why it's so individualized, this whole college advising process.
Continue the work that you're doing for the community.
I think you mentioned sometime in January, so you'll have to send me an email.
Okay, in January.
And I do want to say, though, I so appreciate the work that you do. I know sometimes it seems it's like a thankless job, but the fact that you continually pursue just different leaders in the community and just trying to get them to organize under this umbrella to support our people. I definitely appreciate it. I know it's not an easy work that you do, but it is a necessary work, and I thank you so much for it.
Did you just insult me and call me a Totomakut who wants to keep everybody?
No, I would never call you that. Never. I just appreciate your work. Yeah, Totomakut. Oh no, I would never do that.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much for just
you have a great day.
You too.
Enjoy the graduation, and
thank you,
ladies and gentlemen. That was Miss Hilaire, who not only have college graduate with no loan, but she wants the community to think about planning. Her words were planning ahead. Plan early so that your child could go to college debt-free, because things are getting expensive. And like she says, l'offre graduée, ou ta remen konnen ki so pal manger parce qu'on pa vle chi ta paye student loan. Until next time, you have a blessed day and happy holidays.
You too. Thank you so much, everybody. Merry Christmas. Thank you for the invitation again. I had a wonderful time doing this interview.
Thank you.
Take care. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
M'invitez nous chaque mardi à 7h30 pour nous tendre conversation communautaire. Non, moi c'est Lana St, moi porter petit segment ça pour nous célébrer communauté, pour nous célébrer monde qui travaille dans communauté. Conversation communautaire sont un segment qui patronné par Radio Haïti Amérique Internationale avec Chris Stéphanie. Célébrer communauté, converser, faire conversation avec ressources que nous gagnons dans la communauté. Essayer de transformer connexion nous avec moun, transformer connexion nous avec situation. Sou vle patronner ou bien sou ta vle yon invité dans segment ça, relé 954 638 83 21. Pas oublier brancher chaque mardi à 7h30 du soir pour nous connecter, pour nous célébrer, pour nous faire conversation à communauté. On a beau parler